The Indianapolis Colts are just 16 hours away from announcing the final 53-man roster. And while there are some guys who are not going to be very surprising, there are going to be a few uncut gems that we're really excited to see continue their Indianapolis Colts career, and some guys that are going to see the cut and come back on practice squad. All that and more on this video. What's going on? It's Elijah from Sports Talk Indy, where we cover all things Colts every single day. And at this very moment, there are rumors flying around of the moves that the Indianapolis Colts are going to make, as well as every other team. There's a lot of guys that are expected to get cut, a lot of guys that are going to be surprising to get cut. And there are some that I'm surprised to see be able to stay, and some that I'm surprised to see. So let's cover it. Let's cover the rumors and see where our rookies are lining up as far as the starting positions go. So let's talk about this. The first one that is not really surprising, but is, I like this a lot, is that Dalton Tucker is expected to not only make the roster, but be an immediate backup on the offensive line. Now, if you follow Dalton Tucker at all, he was an undrafted rookie, and he has not only grabbed the attention of the coaching staff, but Ryan Kelly also had this to say: Tucker did such a great job of being great. Accountable guy in the room, said Kelly after Sunday's practice. He brought some character, obviously got a little Kentucky twang to him, so he became a fan favorite pretty quickly. So this is like, despite joining, we're going to pull this report. I'm going to pull it up so you can read it as well. This is from the Colts Wire. Despite joining the Colts offensive line room with a number of established veterans and 2 incoming draft picks, Tucker has put himself in a position to make the 53-man roster. In all 3 preseason games, Tucker was with the second-team offense. In the 2 games, he was at right guard and played left guard against Cincinnati. In those contests, Tucker would surrender only 2 pressures, including no sacks, and over 92 pass blocking snaps. Out of 40 eligible guards, Tucker would rank 12th this preseason in PFF's pass blocking efficiency metric. That's incredible. And again, you love to see an undrafted free agent. You love these guys. I love Matt Gonzalez, and I love Tanner Bortolini. I think both these guys are going to be great long-term picks for the Indianapolis Colts. But I also love seeing an undrafted free agent be able to make it big into this. And I think this is going to be incredible, and I'm already so excited to see Dalton Tucker. But there's some guys that the Colts are going to be moving on from, and one of them is defensive end Levi Bell. Now, Levi Bell didn't have a fantastic preseason. Wasn't really one that this is a shock, so we're not going to cover that too in detail. I would assume that he is going to likely make it back onto the he's going to make it back onto the practice squad, I would guess. But there's another one that is kind of surprising, only because they just signed him last week. We covered this in a video last week, but they're likely going to be waiving Mike Panatsuik in midst of roster cuts. This is one was kind of surprising. They just brought him in last week, so you definitely thought with that being such a late addition that they would probably want to keep him around for a little bit longer, but alas, they elected to not move forward with Mike Panatsuik and are likely going to be waiving him again as soon as the league morning starts. And this one is also kind of surprising. This is a former Bears and Browns running back, Demetric Felton, will not be a part of the Indianapolis Colts going forward. He will again likely make it back onto practice squad, only because this is a position where the Indianapolis Colts need as much depth as they can possibly get. So, yeah, I mean, those are kind of some of the surprising or maybe not so surprising ones. Here's one that I was kind of surprised at. The Colts are going to be waiving Michael Tutsi as a roster cut takes place. The Colts continue to work their way down from 91 to 53. We'll pull this article up. Teams must have their initial 53-man roster set by 4 p.m. on Tuesday. With Tutsi having 3 or fewer years in the NFL, he will first go on waivers. If he goes unclaimed, he will become a free agent and can sign where he pleases. This preseason, a 2023 undrafted free agent out of North Dakota State would appear in all 3 games, playing a total of 33 snaps. And according to PFF, 15 of those snaps would come lined up in the box, with another 15 taking place from the slot. Tutsi would make 3 total tackles in his appearance and allowed 1 reception on 1 target for 10 yards in the finale against Cincinnati. Tutsi recovered a fumble by the Bengals quarterback Logan Woodside. So, again, not super surprising. But what was surprising, we talked about this yesterday, was that Ronnie Harrison did get the cut. And I think that this all makes the case in saying that Nick Cross will be the free safety going forward. But let's talk about our rookies, right? Let's see who is going to be remaining on this team. And there's a lot that I really that I'm really excited to see, because I think that this is a fun rookie class, because this is probably, honestly, um, probably the most fun rookie class that I've seen in recent years from the Indianapolis Colts, because there's so many different parts to it, and I think that every part has its own potential to be really, really great. And obviously you've got your obvious. So we'll go 1 through 7 plus our undrafted free agent that we're really keeping an eye on. And that's Leatu Latu is the first, right? Since arriving in Indianapolis, Latu has looked the part of being the first defender taken in the past April's draft. This is where I think the Colts are going to really see immediate impact. I think this is the first player that the Colts have drafted, aside from, Anthony Richardson, or someone that's a playmaker or like a star position. But to see Leatu Latu already in the preseason and him lining up side by side with DeForest Buckner is going to be something that's going to be exciting to watch for the next several seasons. This is something that is going to be a nightmare for defenders, and it's something that's already been stated as being a nightmare for defenders. There's head coaches and analysts and people inside organizations that are already talking about how deadly this duo is going to be of DeForest Buckner and Leatu Latu. And again, there's now a chance, we didn't know this, but there's now a chance that Samson Ebukam is going to be able to make a return before the season's end, which is so exciting, and I'm so excited to see him and Leatu Latu side by side. The next one is Adonai Mitchell. Again, no surprise, Adonai Mitchell will be on the field for a majority of the snaps. There's a little bit of a competition between him and Alec Pierce, but it does seem like Adonai Mitchell is more of a floater wide receiver, which is great. That's what you want to see. He's moving from the slot. He's moving to the X. He's moving around. And really has the whole route tree is open for Adonai Mitchell. Even last week against the Bengals, they were covering when they were bashing Anthony Richardson and saying the news analysts were saying that they were already giving up on him and all that fun jazz. While all that was going on, Adonai Mitchell from the release was getting wild media attention about his ability to take off the line and really get separation immediately within the first 1 or 2 steps. That's going to be exciting. Here's some ones that are going to require a little bit more attention, and that the first one is Matt Gonzalez. Matt Gonzalez was competing with Blake Freeland for the swing tackle role off the bench, and like most rookies, Gonzalez had his ups and downs as he navigated the learning curve that comes with being with the jump to NFL or from college to the NFL. And then rather than being a true swing tackle, given how the last preseason game went, Freeland will be the backup right tackle, and Gonzalez will be the backup left tackle. This isn't really shocking. I think that for a lot of offensive linemen, you're not really throwing them in on the first one. So I still like Matt Gonzalez. I think he's going to take some work. He's going to take some development. But this is the perfect room to be able to grow in and be able to develop in. So I like this a lot. Tanner Bortolini is the next pick. He was our round 4 pick. There's a learning curve, and Jim Bob Cooter discussed how steep that learning curve can be at the center position in particular. He would add that Bortolini has continued to get better each day, and from the outside looking in, we saw that with him going from the third-team offense down to the second-team offense in the second preseason game. He's still currently out against with a toe injury that he suffered against Arizona. He's not going to miss extended time, but that does mean that he's likely not going to be in the immediate starting or backup role. But do look for Tanner Bortolini by midseason to be the full-time backup center, which is going to be, I think, so exciting. I love this pick. Especially if the Colts can't bring in Ryan Kelly. I think this is going to be a great pick. Moving on, we've got Anthony Gould, who the Colts drafted specifically almost because of the new kick return rules, which is that the ball is going to be snapped, the kicker's going to be low in the back, it's going to kick it, and the teams are going to be just a few yards separated from each other, and it's going to be more of like a big, it's going to be like a trench show. That's really what it's going to be, and it's going to be all about momentum. So the teams have devoted a lot of attention to this. More attention than has ever been devoted to the kickoff has been this season, specifically from the return side. And so I think that Anthony Gould was drafted for that, and his speed. He's got 4.39 40. I think that that's going to be something exciting. Unfortunately, he has had some trouble with specifically ball stability, being able to hold on to the football past impact, and that's a really important thing when you're talking about kick returners. So we'll see how he develops. He's still going to make the roster. I have no doubts about that, but we'll see to what degree he does. There's also some competition now with some guys coming in, like Laquan Treadwell and some of these other guys. Ashton Doolin's still on the roster. So there's going to be some competition as far as who is able to remain, but I like Gould going forward. I think there's just a little bit he's going to have to really work on going forward. Jalen Carleys. This is one that I have liked a lot. Both the Jalens that the Colts drafted. Jalen Carleys has missed some time with hip injury, but when he was playing, he impressed coaches on the field with the coverage that he brings to the position, even seeing some snaps with the starters as the will linebacker. I like this a lot. I like the switch for Carleys to be linebacker, and I like this linebacker room. So moving on, Jalen Simpson. Jalen Simpson is one that there's a lot to what he can bring to a defense. He's shown flash making playmaking presence in the secondary. His versatility playing safety, nickel, and boundary cornerback in Auburn can be quite valuable as well. And then the report goes on. But with that said, even with some unknowns at quarterback for the Colts, this is likely more of a development year for Simpson, who took his lumps as well at 178 pounds. He'll also need to bulk up quite a bit. Now, here's my favorite pick that's not including the first two picks for the Indianapolis Colts. And I've talked about this guy a lot, and I love him, and I'm so excited to see him play. This is Micah Abraham. This is the guy out of Marshall who has been wildly impressive already. Micah Abraham has an unbelievable ability in press coverage, and it looks as though Micah Abraham is going to be the backup nickel corner behind the great Kenny Moore, which is incredible. He's a similar size and build to Kenny Moore. He's a little bit smaller on the weight department, but he does look to be very similar in stature, but he picks up for it in speed, and I like this pick a lot. So Micah Abraham is going to be making the roster. Jonah Lealu, and then finally our offensive lineman that we covered at the beginning of this video is Dalton Tucker. He is going to be likely making the roster, which is an incredible story. Both he and Jason Bean are the two undrafted free agents that I'm pulling for to be able to be on the roster, especially with that emergency quarterback being approved by the NFLPA. So I like this pick a lot. Let me know who you like from the rookies and who you think is going to get cut, who you think is going to stay, and we'll cover all that and more on the next one. We'll see you. Thank you.